Do you call yourself a blogger, or do you use some other word to describe what you do? This is a question that I've been asked quite a bit lately, and it's one that I've had a bit of a shift in my own thinking on. In days gone by, I always did refer to myself as a blogger. It's what I did. And these days, whilst I still use the term sometimes to describe what I do, I guess I've widened my perspective in how I describe myself. This is partly because I don't just blog anymore, I run a forum as well, but it's also a bit of a mind shift for me, and it's something that I encourage other bloggers to think through as well. You see, sometimes I think we limit ourselves as bloggers by just thinking about the sites that we run as blogs. Let me explain a little more. You see, the majority of websites out there and the majority of our competition as blogs in the different niches that we blog in are not limited by the term blog, and they don't limit themselves in that way. I recently heard a blogger describe their goals in this way. They said, I want to be the #1 blog on my niche. Now, this is a fairly admirable goal to have, and it's one that I can understand on many levels, but are they selling themselves short? You see, in the niche that they were talking about, there are other websites as well, which are much bigger than the largest blog in their niche. And to have the ultimate goal of their blog to be the biggest blog is somehow limiting the potential that they could have. I see this every day in the digital photography space online. There are some really big blogs in that space, but they are just tiny in comparison to some of the bigger websites and forums that are out there. So in a sense, when you're thinking about your competition, to just have an objective about being a big blog could be limiting you in some ways. The other thing I'd say about this is that your readers, and the majority of your readers, just don't care. The majority of your readers wouldn't mind if you're a blog, a forum, a news site, whatever. They have other things that are their higher priorities, like getting good quality content or like getting involved in a community online. Now, some of your readers will care about the blogging format, they like that style, but a lot of your readers won't even know what a blog is, and they have no preference in that way. So you don't actually do yourself too many favours by just promoting yourself as a blog or as a blogger. The reality is that blogs are just a type of website. And whilst at times bloggers, we can be a little bit precious about defining what a blog is and what a blog isn't, I think sometimes they're just semantics, and sometimes we need to get over that and just see ourselves as web publishers. This is what I call myself, this is what I put on my tax return, it's how I describe myself to my friends and family when I describe what I do. But it's also the mindset that I now have as someone who's developing web properties online and websites. The last thing that I'll say is that I think there's some good sense in not just thinking of yourself as a blogger as you position yourself for the future. You see, blogs at the moment, they're kind of hip, they're kind of cool, although they're probably a bit 2007, not 2008, a bit 2006 perhaps even. And new types of websites and new types of communication online are coming about all the time. And if you want to position yourself for the long haul as someone who has a website that is profitable and that has a large readership, perhaps to limit yourself just as a blog and to promote yourself in that way could be a little bit limiting as well. And to think of yourself in a little bit wider perspectives as a web publisher may actually help you to embrace some of the new technologies and types of websites that come along. This is just my perspective. It's just the conclusion that I've come to at this point. I'd be interested to hear what you've got to say on the topic. Do you describe yourself or think of yourself as a blogger? Or do you have a wider perspective than that? Or even a narrower perspective? And why do you think of yourself in that way? I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. Let's have a conversation in the comments below this video.